Diane in Denmark here on another glorious spring morning here in Denmark. I'm just checking with you quickly today. I'm going to clothes swap, but Vibeke is a bit later on, and that's why I'm wearing my kind of sundress today, because it's easy to pull on and off when I'm trying on lots of clothes. Anyway, I'm making a little cake to take with me, and last time I was going to the clothes swap, I think it was breakfast muffins that I made. Anyway, I've got a whole playlist of recipes, and you know me, I always jump over where the bar is lowest, but at least I jump and I get somewhere. So I wanted to share with you today the cake that I'm making, because it is super simple and it's got a really funny name. It's called the Swedish Fishwife's cake, and I came across this recipe when I was over at our Swedish summer house, and the best way for me to learn languages is to see things, or see it on the television and hear it and read the subtitles. And I was reading one of those, occasionally I buy food magazines, and cakes, and it was one of those recipes. It was a reader's recipe. I love those ones because it's always something that they've been making for 100 years, or their granny made. And it's a fantastic recipe actually that I make when I'm at the summer house, because you don't need many ingredients. I'll tell you quickly what's in it. Flour, sugar, eggs. That is the basic cake. So it's a very simple cake. But then the fun part comes when you put on the topping of the cake before it goes and bakes in the oven, which is sugar, the little kind of pearl sugar, if you can get that. Otherwise, normal sugar is fine. A lot of butter. We love our butter. And almonds, chopped almonds, or if you're not into nuts or nut allergy, leave them out and use something else. Anyway, I'll just wash my hands and get my pinny on, and let's get started. And I'm maybe sounding a bit nasal today. There is so much pollen in Denmark right now. When we were down swimming for a skinny dip yesterday, the sea was covered in little bits of blossom and the pollen. The car is covered in pollen. Everything is covered in pollen. We're all covered in pollen. So I feel like I've got this huge nose at the moment and puffy eyes. But anyway, it doesn't matter because Denmark looks fantastic. I'm just back from driving my son up to the barracks, because if you follow me for a while, don't worry, I'll just speak for one more minute and then we'll get going on the cake. My son turned 18, my DS18, my dear son 18, turned 18 in end of December, and in Denmark they have conscription. It's only 4 months, and not everybody gets taken in. So they go for a day at the barracks, and today was the day. And if you don't turn up, the police will come and get you and put you in prison. Anyway, you turn up, and then they check your health, and you do lots of tests, and you see what it's like. And then they have like this tombola thing where they turn it around and you pull out your number, and that shows you whether you have to do the conscription or not do the conscription. And my son, he's kind of fine with it. He's like, well, if I have to do it, it's fine. It's 4 months, basically a bit like a summer camp here in Denmark, where you do lots of training and get fit, or they may decide that he's not fit for it because of using glasses or whatever it is. Anyway, he was to be up there very early this morning, so I'm just back. I have to finish off my morning routine, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this cake baked, or mix it up, put it in the oven, and while the cake is baking, I'm going to finish off my morning routine. So anyway, let me wash my hands, get my pinny on, and let's get going. Right, hands washed, pinny on, my Ulster Weaver's pinny. I've also got the oven going, and it's on at 175 Celsius, which is probably 350 Fahrenheit. So let's get started. And as I said, it's very, very simple. Very simple indeed. Okay, I've got my mixing bowl, and into your mixing bowl you're going to put 300 milliliters of sugar, which is roughly 1 1/4 cups. Now this is just basic granulated sugar, nothing fancy. And then into there you're going to put crack a couple of eggs. There's one. And the egg size, it doesn't matter, you know, if you use what you've got. And it's a really simple, right, oh, sorry. I just saw the squirrel outside. Hello, oh, 2 squirrels. Hold on, let me see. And I'm just going to stop and see if I can film them for you. Okay, can you see them? They come every morning to get their water and their rye bread. And I'm sure they're looking for their rye bread, wondering where it is. Oh, wee cutie squirrels. Anyway, back to the cake. I'll just wash my hands because I've put the eggs in now, and then we will get going with the cake. Okay, back to the cake. So I just always get so excited when I see the squirrels because I think, yeah, they've lived another day and fought off predators and whatever. Right, I'm just going to mix together the eggs and the sugar. There we go. That's that done. On the way. And then we're going to add in the flour. And the flour, hold on, there we are. For my pooper. The flour, just plain, bog standard plain flour. You don't have to have, you know, if you only have self-raising flour in your store cupboard, that's fine. It's not going to make any difference. It'll maybe rise a wee bit more. Now let me just get a spoon. And all we're going to do with, so in here we've got the 2 eggs, the 300 milliliters of, or grams of sugar. And then I'm just going to add the same amount of flour as of sugar. So 2 eggs, 300 milliliters of sugar, granulated sugar, 300 milliliters of flour, plain flour, and which transferred to cups is 1 1/4, I think is it, yeah. And I'm just, I'm not even kind of folding, I'm just mixing it in lightly. And the cake itself, there's no raising agent in it, so it'll be quite kind of compact. So I would describe it more as like a tart consistency rather. It's not going to be turning out like a sponge, you know, where we're not doing like a Victoria sponge here. Right, anyway, I'll show you what I've got. See, so it's quite thick. And as I said, I've already got the oven on, 350 Fahrenheit, 175 Celsius. There we go. Gosh, I really need another cup of coffee this morning. I'm getting excited with the squirrels. Right, and what you're going to do is put it into a tin. I'll just tell you the measurements of this one. I've got my measuring tape. Let me see. And I've got a generic size one from IKEA, 21 centimetres. This is an IKEA tin, which in inches is about 8.5 inches. And I never, spray, one of those spray things or use butter and flour it. I always go the easy way. And thanks for the tip to Lucy, who told me that if you scrunch up first, it's easier to kind of work it and get it into the tin. Because I like to make it easy for cleanup, and that once the cake is done, I can just kind of lift it out. Right, okay. Remember, this isn't meant to be a fancy cake. It's Swedish Fishwife's cake, so it's not a fancy thing, but it's really tasty because of all the butter, as usual. Right, okay, so there's my thing. Remember, it doesn't have to be fancy, just get it lined, and then I'll just see if I've got my spatula, which was one of my Christmas gifts from my GD16, my dear daughter. Right. You can see it's quite thick, the mixture. Are we filming? Yeah, we're filming, good. Let's see how much more of the mixture I can get out. So, I mean, you can tell yourself this is a very, very basic mixture. It's just flour. Oh, hold on, I should have put that away so soon. Let's get a knife. I want to get every last bit of this cake in there. There we go. Right, that's for going in the dishwasher once I've unloaded what I've got. Remember, I couldn't finish my morning routine before I left with my son. But, you know, if you have to go out and do something, as soon as you come back in the door, get your routine finished. And that's what I'm going to do while this cake is baking. Right, now I'm just spreading it out a wee bit. It'll spread out itself. There you go. Right, and now comes the really fun part. So what you're going to do is, you're going to take butter. Now I use this Danish, it's like spreadable lard pack. And then it's up to you how much or how little you want to put on it. But the idea is that we're going to top it with pearl sugar. Let me just put some in my hand so you can see. Now this looks really pretty on the finished cake, but I have made it with normal granulated sugar. It's the same effect. It's going to give us the sweetness. There's already quite a lot of sugar in the cake, but it looks really cute. So I'm going to sprinkle that on and a wee bit more. I mean, if you're going to have cake, at least make it a decent cake. You know, you can have a small piece of it. Right, you see there? So that's the pearl sugar on. I can't remember what you call it in English, but somebody will chime in the comments and tell me. And the other thing is I'm going to add some almonds. Because, you know, I eat quite a lot of almonds. I eat like a handful every day. Keeps you regular, lots of fibre. And I would just chop them up. I mean, you can do it as finely as you want. You can probably get those packets, you know, if you were baking cakes at Christmas and you bought a packet of those ready chopped almonds, you know, go ahead and use them up. Let's get them decluttered because you can't keep nuts forever. And of course, the chopped almonds gives it a really good flavour, like that kind of marzipan flavour. Okay, I'm leaving the butter part for then because I know you're all going to fall over backwards and be shocked by the amount. But hey ho. And you know, I love butter, cream, all of those things. I eat fairly healthy, but I think the reason that, as I've said before, I'm skinny, I've always been this build, is that I'm always on the move, you know, and I've actually never felt as healthy as I do now, like compared to 10, 15 years ago, because I'm out on my bike, and you know, I don't go to the gym or anything like that, but I've got my winter bathing, or you know, all year round bathing, and I think it's just that doing a little bit of exercise every day that keeps us, you know, physically in good shape and also mentally in good shape. Anyway, enough of the psychobabble this morning. Right, so I've got my chopped almonds. Oh, can you see that there? Hold on. Set the way so you can see it a bit. I was just chopping there. Right, here we are. We're just gonna throw those over the cake. And for me, the more the merrier. There you go. So that's the almonds, chopped almonds. And the last thing is the butter. You know, I've told you that the Danes, they have this expression called tentsmer, when you put so much butter on a piece of bread that you can leave teeth marks in it. And I love that. I know a lot of you are, oh, can't decide it. Right, hold on, I just need another wee spoon. Right, and I'm just taking wee bits of butter, little bits like that, and putting it on top of the cake. And what happens is that kind of melts down along with the sugar and the almonds and gives it a kind of crunchy topping and browns it slightly and gives it a really good taste. Now, I can't really tell you how many grams or sticks of butter I'm using, but you can see I'm doing like half teaspoons. And this is the thing, that in the original recipe there was no amount, so just try it. And you can't go wrong with this. I mean, it's an easy cake. And I think I'll just put in a couple of bits more, because when we go to the clothes swap party today, we're going to be trying on a lot of clothes and shoes and accessories, so we'll need some energy to keep us going. Right, okay, one more and then yeah. Right. Okay, can you see that? Covered in butter. But remember, in the original, in the base of the cake, we only had flour, sugar and eggs. There was no fat in the actual cake. Oh, and just let me show you. Look at these blooms from the garden this morning. They're absolutely fabulous, but as I say, that's why I feel like I've got like a clown nose and my eyes are puffy. Right, I'm going to put this into the oven, 175 Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, and I shall do a pooper and come back to you. Okay, see you very soon. Okay, and we're back. I've got the cake out of the oven. Hold on, let me just turn you down a wee bit. Here we are, and you can see it now. It takes about, I would say about 40 minutes in the oven, but it will depend, of course, where you are in the world and what kind of, what size of eggs you've been using. But the best way is just when it's cooking to take skewer and, you know, do the old trick, and if the skewer comes out clean, it is ready. But you can see it looks fantastic and kind of crunchy and brown. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to leave it to cool in the tin. And unfortunately I can't cut into it today because I'm taking it to the clothes swap. But then I'll put it on a wee platter with some flowers around it, and it'll look kind of pretty because it is a rustic looking cake. And the other thing is I'm taking something kind of healthy with me as well, because somebody always brings some kind of really good dip. One of our friends, I'll just call her B, she makes a fantastic dip with black beans and coriander and banana, which sounds really weird, but it's fantastic. Anyway, I've just been cutting up some carrots and I'll take those with me as well. And in the time it took to cook the cake, I finished my morning routine, emptied the dishwasher, set the table for dinner, set up the coffee for tomorrow, hung my washing out, put out some rye bread for the squirrels. What else did I do? Oh, my outfit is ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow, probably be back to trousers tomorrow, but I've got a dress if the weather is like it is today. Anyway, you'll see that on Instagram. And the last thing I'm going to do while the cake is cooling, it is Wednesday, which is anti-procrastination day in Flylady Land, and I need to phone the plumber because we have a problem with the toilet upstairs that we can't fix ourselves. So I'm going to do that while this cools, get it on the plate, and I'm ready to go. So anyway, have a fantastic day. As usual, live long and prosper. May the Danish hygge be with you, and I'm sending you more of our wonderful sunshine and heat, and I shall see you very soon. And I'll probably make a video tomorrow showing you, if anything, what I get at the clothes swap party, and more interestingly perhaps, what I'm taking back to the clothes swap party that I didn't use last time. Okay, see you very soon. Bye for now.